Right, Vinny, what we got?
I can see now. Start with team news, really. Injury-wise, Evans ready to return? Albrighton, how far away is he? And Amati as well, is he still on course for maybe getting back before the end of the season?
Yeah, Daniel, well, he's obviously still with the medical and sports science team, but yeah, so we'll see how that goes between now and the end of the season. Harry's back in the squad, which is great. Johnny has recovered from his injury, so he came out and trained today. And Mark Albrighton has been training now the last week or so he looks very, very good. So it's good news.
Obviously, various reports that Slimani is going to be leaving permanently in the summer, and you're going to have to take a big hit in terms of a fee. What's your reading of the situation at the moment? What do you feel is likely to happen as regards his future?
I think it's one, Vinny. I've just come in to obviously initially work with the players that are here. There's obviously a number of players that are out on loan, and then it's something that we'll discuss between now and the end of the season. He's obviously a player that wants to play, and obviously the loan hasn't quite worked out probably as how he would want. But these are all decisions that will be made towards the end of the season, and there's been nothing decided yet.
And as regards the future, and obviously a big part of that future, you'd imagine, is James Maddison. And given what you said about him being better than you had thought, is there any concern that other managers will take the same view, and that in the end could cause a problem for you?
Well, listen, my only feelings on players and my experiences now in the game, you just continue to work with them, and when they're top talents, they'll always create attention around them. But he's very happy here. It's his first season in the Premier League. He's been on a great journey as a young player. He's now arrived at a fantastic club where the way we work and the style of which we play really will suit his game and his qualities. And he will want to gain more experience in this league. So he's a fantastic talent. He works very, very hard at his game. Very good idea of football, but works very, very hard. So now he's been a joy to work with since I've come in, and like I say, there's still a lot of improvements that he will make.
One of three of your players in the Premier League top 10 form rankings at the moment for the last 6 games as well. Vardy second, Maddison fourth, and Ndidi fifth. What's that say about the way the team is working at the moment?
Well, it's exactly that. The team is functioning very well. I think when you come into a club, and the start point is always the players, and what I've found since I've come in, that they're a very hard working group. They're very coachable, and they want to learn. And when you have that mix within your group, then it's really exciting as a coach, because it means that you can take them and develop them. So yeah, we've only been working a short time together, but it's been nice to see their concentration and focus in the games, and obviously they're getting the rewards for their hard work and training. And it's always nice when you see that relationship between the training and the game. And it obviously makes you happy as a coach. So they're playing well, but like I say, it's a lot of work for us to do still in terms of getting to where we want to get to. But they're showing good early promise.
You can not only impact your own destiny in terms of that 7th place finish, but you can also have a say in Champions League qualification, also the title race with the remaining games that you've got. It's obviously 5 years since you went so close to delivering that Premier League title for Liverpool, and obviously they faced Chelsea on Sunday. How do you look back now at your own experience in that title running 5 years ago when you faced Chelsea with the title so close?
Well, I really enjoyed it. That was, at that point of the season, everyone will talk about pressure, but we didn't feel pressure. We had gone into that game, I think we had about 10, 11 games on the spin we'd won, something like that. And obviously if you look at over the last 14 games of that season, we'd actually we won 11, drew 2 and only lost 1 game. But I think if you want to lose a title, it's over 38 games. And I think for us, we went ever so close. It was just a shame, of course, that we just fell short towards the end. But the journey and the progression over that 18 months was great to see in the players, and a lot of young players developing, and they will have gained from that experience.
How does it shape you as a manager as well? Because obviously you follow it up with 2 Scottish Premierships, 2 Scottish Cups and 2 Scottish League Cups.
Well, obviously at that moment in time when I came out of Liverpool, I had a wonderful experience at, an iconic club, and then when you move on, what's important is that you learn. And I went to Celtic. The pressure is to win. Again, another huge institution as a club, and the expectation is to win. So we were able to do that and do it in the way that we wanted to. And like I say, that shapes you, both the successes, but even more so when it doesn't quite work out. So, but yeah, I've come now into a club here where it's a wonderful club with a great group of players, but has ambition to keep developing. And it makes me very happy to be here, of course.
So what pressure does that expectation here bring to you now as well? And to that end, what kind of a bonus would European qualification be now this season, albeit you've been here such a short time?
Yeah, it wasn't really something that we'd thought about coming in, and I'm not overly thinking it either. The job really is to get through to the end of the season, building this base for the summer and for next season. But of course, whilst the players are playing well and they're winning, then of course you collate the points and it brings you towards a European place. But others will still have advantage on us with the games to play. But for us, it's just going into every game, giving our very best and looking to perform well. We want to entertain the supporters. That's very important. The supporters need to be excited by watching their team, and they need to come to the stadium wanting to watch and be happy with what they've seen. So that's what we're trying to create in this short-term period that hopefully can give us the success longer term.
What do you, finally from me, expect from Newcastle? Because obviously they're that comeback win against Everton, but that's their only victory in their last 5 league games.
Well, I'll expect a very, very tough game. Rafa's a top-class manager who's organises his teams exceptionally well. They play in a 5-4-1 structure when they haven't got the ball, so it can be very difficult to break that down. So patience is going to be important, but always with speed and looking to be creative as we possibly can. So they don't give away many goals, so we know that we're going to have that patience. But we've got a lot of exciting players in the team that can be good in 1v1 situations, that can manipulate the ball, and then we're going to have to show that quality throughout the game. Okay.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi.
Harry Maguire has obviously recently become a father. Are you coping with the new responsibilities?
Well, he looks very, very happy, and I said to him, having a child and having children, eventually it makes you a better person. So now he's obviously didn't train a lot last week. I gave him the weekend to ensure that Fern and his newborn child were okay and back home safe, and he's now trained this week and looks very strong and very focused.
Obviously there's a lot of fathers in the squad and on the coaching staff. Have you guys been giving him any parenting tips over the weekend?
No, not really. I think that he'll have good advice from his teammates and that, I'm sure. But no, he just needs to cherish every moment. When you become a father, it's a really exciting time, and it brings a lot of responsibility, of course. But it also gives you a great motivation for you and your family going forward, because it's now not just about you; it's about your child.
Have you got a difficult decision at centre back on Friday? You were quite effusive in praise for Söyüncü at the weekend with Maguire back.
Yeah, it's always the difficult situation for any manager whenever you have all your players that are playing very well, and importantly training very well. The training quality is so high, and the focus, and it's great to see. But of course that's always the difficult part of it. So but like I say, I've got a really good group of players. We'll pick a team we feel to win the game, and like I say, those players that won't start, they have a contribution to make, and like I say, we just decide what we feel is the best squad and the best team to play.
We spoke to Harry this morning. He said the one thing that you've really changed is you've given them back the confidence. How have you done that?
I always think confidence comes from hard work. There's no rocket science to it. We prepare very intensely with the coaches to prepare our sessions to ensure that we can maximise what we can get out of the players. So, and the basis of that is hard work. So from that, then we've just tried to be very clear on how we play. And I think for players that always helps. If they have that clarity in their positions and how they play and how the team functions, then you give them a purpose as to why you do it. And then, of course, you build confidence through success and winning games. So, but no, we've tried to highlight areas that we can improve and still improve. And when it hasn't quite worked out for them, I never get frustrated with players. Football is about making mistakes, analysing them and helping the players improve. So I think they've enjoyed the learning environment that we've created, and that's something that will be ongoing.
Last one from me. Youri Tielemans has been outstanding the last few weeks. How do you rate your chances of keeping him past the summer?
Well, it's a weekly question now. There's nothing has changed. He's a very good player, and amongst a lot of very good players. The success for us, will always be as a team, and Youri's obviously a very important part of that at this moment in time. So, but yeah, we'll, there's nothing really to add to that until the end of the season.
Owen, please.
Hi Brendan. Just going back to the team news, you mentioned after the game last Saturday against Huddersfield that you'd given Jamie Vardy a day off with his groin. How is Jamie Vardy with that particular, not injury, but with that problem at the moment?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely fine. He'd obviously felt a slight niggle of it towards the end of the game, so rather than risk it with the scoreline the way it was, we just take him off. He's recovered well in the early part of the week, but trained absolutely fine. So he looks as sharp as normal, and he'll be ready for Friday.
Is that a case of managing it until the end of the season, or is it something that is gone now?
It'll be a case of managing it, I'm sure, but we just have to see if there's any more reaction to it. It was just something that happened within the game, so we'll just assess that.
5 games into your tenure now, have the players given any feedback about the style of play that you've brought to the club and about what they like about it?
Not really. They'll have had a good idea of how I've worked before, having played against or watched my teams play. So, but no, I think you see how they're playing. They enjoy working hard. I think that's testament to them. They want to have an appetite to run and to work and to press, and like I say, we do all of that to create chances and score goals. So yeah, it's maybe it's something that I would think they would enjoy, but we still have a lot of work to do to improve.
You mentioned just there and before as well about it carrying on improving, and there has been an upturn in form, of course. But how far away is this side and these players from where you ideally want them to be in terms of their performance?
It's just a continuation. You always have to be looking to improve. If you're going to be successful, it's a constant. You're always evolving, developing. We've only been working together 4 weeks, so managers in this league have been together 4 or 5 years. So for us, it's just about the consistency and the preparation and the focus, and of course developing a lot of the young talents that we have, and like I say, reinforcing our ideas with the experienced players. So, but that just is over time, and certainly you don't have the finished product after 4 or 5 weeks.
Who has benefited most, do you think, in your playing squad from the style that you've brought to the club since you arrived? Is there anyone who's you've seen not only in training and on the pitch as well, who's flourished in particular?
Not really. It's not a focus of mine. My job is to develop every individual player, the players that are playing, the players that aren't playing, and then ultimately it's about the team. So my focus is very much around the team. Individuals will improve within that on a daily basis and in the games. But your focus is to prepare the team and ensure that we get the results playing how we want to play.
Newcastle on Friday, their striker Rondon can be a bit of a handful at times. What do you make of him and the sort of striker that he is and how he operates?
Yeah, he's a very good player. Obviously seen him at West Brom, and works very, very hard, holds the ball up well, good strength in the box, attacks the ball well. So he, along with one or two of the other players, we have to be wary of. It'll be a tough game for us because they put up a lot of resistance. They play deep and can really condense the space close to goal. So we'll really have to be our best to get a good result.
Might Rondon be the kind of striker that the football club and yourself might look at bringing in the summer?
I don't think it's even a question, is it?
As in that kind of big striker, someone who can hold the ball up well, is that a sort of player you might be kind of interested in to bring here?
No, I just want good players. Players that are hungry. Don't necessarily need to be a big target man. Jamie Vardy does okay. And we got other really good players in the squad. So there's lots of good players.
And finally, how important is the momentum for you at the moment? Because there's almost 3 teams now going for that 7th place, that potential Europa League spot. How important is it to continue the momentum you've got over the last 4 games?
Yeah, my only concern is about ourselves. So we'll look to continue working hard and bring that into the games, and we'll do our very best.
Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Okay, folks,